Hello, hi again, everyone. Right? So, my name is Nini Chong, and I have a special guest with us today. Okay, her name is Shazima Shah. So, probably not many people know about this. I don't know whether it's ethical or not, but it's okay by me. So, I'm just going to do it anyways, right? So, Shaz is actually, I've been on therapy session with her before this. Can I say that? Okay. I'm just going to bring Azima Shah online now, right? So let her introduce herself.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Shazima. So I'm a clinical psychologist from WeCare Light Health Center. And yeah, just like Nini says, so what I do is I deal with people who have mental health problems and also developmental health issues. And what we do is we do assessments and we do interventions for those who need help mostly.
Hmm.
So usually the type of people that I see are the ones who have depression, anxiety, stress, autism, ADHD. Well, it's a lot of different types of disorders.
Hmm.
Right, Nini?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that I don't have a disorder, right, with wearing
Yeah.
this type.
No, no, no. And
I'm just
I also see people, normal people, who just need
I'm
to
I'm
talk.
enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself doing this. So that's why I decided, okay, let us be fun today, right? So thank you so much for being on air, online together with us at Her Rise Story virtual talk show. And my name is Nini Chong. I am the founder and producer for Her Rise Story Unconference series. So we are going virtual right now on Her Rise Story virtual talk show. And our guest again for tonight is Shazima Shah. She is the director and co-founder at We Care Allied Health Center. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
Oh, okay. So, Shaz, how has it been going, working from home? Because I know that in your line of business, I had that session with you, right? That you got to meet these, clients of yours. I don't know whether you call them clients or patients.
Usually we call them clients.
Clients, okay,
Yeah.
face to face, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So how is it going now?
All right. So because of the whole movement control order, what happened was we had to reschedule a lot of our cases, but we also started online therapy. So we started and we launched e-therapy for those who still want to actually see us. And, is to do therapy online. Basically, it's not face to face anymore. And it is through, well, whatever we can get hold of, either by using Zoom or Google Hangouts. And we will actually arrange the sessions with the client to actually meet them at a certain time, and they will be on the other side of the screen and we'll be here and we'll be having therapy sessions.
All
So
right.
at this moment it's already up and going.
All right. How is it so far? Let's talk more about that.
It's quite challenging actually because as a psychologist, what we do is that we observe behaviors. We actually like the personal touch. We actually, you know, rely on a lot on our instincts, and also what the whole human touch, a human element is very important for us. And so because we can't do it right now, so it is pretty challenging, as in we there's a lot of the unknown as well for us, so we have to go through trial and errors, especially with technology. Number one is the technology. Number two is also whether we can actually get through to our clients, and whether they actually feel as much as they would from the benefit from what they would get if they were to see us face to face. But at this point right now, I think we have no choice, and And well, when we have no choice, then anything is better than nothing, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and you've just started, right? Probably this could be a beginning of your online therapy, and that's good, right?
It is very good because there are other people who actually have started practicing online therapy, but I think me and Farah is my partner,
And
my
my
business
own friend,
partner. Yes, of course. And she's also clinical psychologist and also, one of my best friends. And she and me, we're very, very what do you call it? Traditional. We like we like meeting our patients and face to face, and we're not very open to, going into using the technology and everything. But at this point right now, we have no choice but to actually go forward with that and move forward with that right now.
Okay, may I ask this question, right? I know that being a clinical psychologist, there are technical part of your consultation, right, with your clients. So does that stop you, or maybe the word is it still effective for you to, the technical part of that consulting? Is it, can you implement all via digital right now?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I think at this point, what we are doing right now is managing a lot of distress and anxiety and stress basically when it comes to clients. So to say like, we're going full mode on therapy mode, as in using different techniques and types of therapy, we are not there yet.
Mhm.
So at this I mean, for this last 2 weeks and everything, everybody is kind of having a little bit of anxiety. So our main goal for right now is to actually help them manage um, their lives right now, and to help them to let them have an outlet to actually talk to us. So when you talk to me about whether we're going to be able to implement the whole technical part or anything, I think at some point we will be able to actually implement it.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, I think it's just going to be managing emotions mostly, and also trying to um, see how much of distress the whole situation is causing them, and from there we will move on.
But so far so good, right? How long
Yeah.
have you been implementing this? When RMO started,
I'm sorry.
during the restricted movement order started, and you started your sessions as
Yes,
online.
yes. We made a really fast move in moving everything to e therapy, like really fast. Within a couple of days, we got everything set up thanks to our team.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we are coming out with a lot of content when it comes to e-therapy, and also like if they need help, they can they reach out to us to actually do sessions with us. So we do have existing clients who actually have opted for it already.
Mm-hmm.
So they are pretty happy with it actually, because that would mean they don't really have to move and come all the way to We Care Lighthouse Center, DTDI, to come and see us. Of course, so some of them are pretty happy with this move actually.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it shows that oh, whatever it is, they're still gonna come and see us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, at least, you know this, right? You know that I've always been a big advocate of, you
Yes,
know,
I
if,
know.
if you sakit perut, you pergilah jumpa doktor yang boleh, diagnose you sakit perut apa. If you sakit kaki, pergilah jumpa doktor kaki, right? If you are having a headache, pergi makan Panadol or whatever.
Yeah, I really love your analogy, and that is the best way to actually come and tell someone, go and see lah psychologist, right?
Right, right.
Right.
So it's
And
like,
it is a stigma. Generally, a lot of people thinks it's not great to actually go and see a psychologist, but actually, even people with normal problems, I go see Farah when I have problems. So you
right,
know,
right. Because I think that at this current time, there are so much of stress that's going on, with businesses, with maybe some of the employees are just so afraid that they are going to be laid off from work. And there are just so many things that is causing stress right now. You know, like husband and wife at home seeing too much of each other, you know, that kind of thing.
I have solution for that.
Right? So we're going to talk about that. And I do feel that having this service or having this therapy session online, e-therapy, is really, really great, right? So I,
Yeah.
again, am is a big advocate of kalau you rasa you sakit hati, you know, you feel that there's something on there, and then there's something on in your mind that you just can't figure it
Mm-hmm.
out, then see a therapist. It's the same. I don't think so there is a necessary stigma that that kalau you pergi jumpa clinical psychologist, artinya you gila, so it doesn't mean that way. I'm not crazy. Yes, I'm wearing this funny hat today, but I promise you I'm not, I don't have mental illness.
I've already met you, Dini. No, I don't think you have any problems
Diagnose
in
true, right?
particular. No, no diagnosis, I'm sure.
Okay, so let's talk about now there is a term that is called separate together, right? So the whole
Mm-mm-mm.
session is we are distancing ourselves, right? For the good of the world. Actually, now we are not only talking about Malaysia, for the good of the world right now. So, but again, many people, I think, have maybe have some resistance about staying at home because we are just not used to it, right? So let's talk about the topic of staying sane and productive during the stay home ni kan. Some people call it a movement restriction order, a restriction or movement order, whatever lah kan. So it's just basically that we just need to stay home, jangan keluar, do whatever you need to do at home. So let's talk about tips. What is the one, if there is that one thing that we need to apply in our everyday life right now to stay sane, right? To at least like the basic lines thing. What is that, Shaz?
Okay, I think there are a few things that we need to take into consideration. I mean, looking at the situation, I would say for most people right now, I think is because it's a lot of the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow, and every day there's news coming up about COVID-19. How many people died, how many people are infected, and the numbers keep increasing. So I think for one thing I would tell people is this. I think what we need to do is to limit ourselves from actually looking at social media, number one, and about the news, especially about the news about coronavirus and the updates. And because once we start looking at it, we start getting obsessed. I think that kind of happens, and you just keep clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking even more to actually look at it, and it causes a lot more of anxiety. And when you are anxious and you have fears, I think that would stop you from doing other things. And there are a lot of fake news as well that's going out, and
So
that is also not really helping.
mhm.
So I would say limit it, and also find reliable sources to actually look at, because fake news. There's a lot of things going on, and since it just started for us, I think in the beginning, last few days has been quite you know been quite scary actually, because we don't really know what's going to happen after this. And every day the government is coming out with something else as well. So a lot of people tend to they get even more anxious, and then they stop what they are currently doing, or they are not really functioning because they're actually just thinking about what's going to happen.
Mhm.
So I would say that is my biggest tip for a lot of people right now, especially those who already have anxiety disorders, or who already have diagnosis. even us who do not have any diagnosis, we have, and some sort of anxiety right now.
Mm,
So, yeah,
right.
even I am feeling anxious. It's just telling Farah, wow, the anxiety is real. You keep thinking about it and you get
Mhm.
fear. And I was thinking, if I feel this much, that means my patients would probably feel even worse than me. So, yeah.
Okay. So, um, okay. So your first tip is to actually keep calm and look at facts when looking at news on social media. Look at facts when you're looking at videos that is being distributed through WhatsApp and all that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know about what's going on. Not saying no. I mean, it's good to know what the coronavirus is. It's good to know, like, how do apply social distancing, and a lot of things, and how this virus actually spread. But I think at some point we gotta, like, okay, this is what's going on. I can't do anything about it right now. So the only thing I can do is to actually stay safe, stay at home,
Mm-hmm.
right?
All right. So that was tip number one, right? And
Yeah.
to actually control or maybe verify the information that you are getting via what your chat rooms. There's so many now. There's WeChat, there's WhatsApp, there's Telegram, there's Ding Talk. There's just so many right now. So what we need to do is to verify those news, and also to verify the news and information that we are getting from social media, and do not get anxious unnecessarily. And that's
Mm.
how we do it, is just to verify. Very easy, right?
Right, that's right.
Okay. So I would like to ask this question. All right.
Mm.
So if better don't use the word we, right? If anyone, right, is being requested to do self isolation at home or self quarantine at home because they are suspected to have the virus, or maybe they just came back from a traveling and all that. Because I know then, that one of those days, I just went, after RMO started, I just went,
Mm-hmm.
is like, few hundred meters away from my house, right? But coming back, I just bought some eggs and some breads and came home. But that night I was being paranoid like crazy, like that. Macam, oh, my nose macam stuffy a little bit, and then I kind of kept it to myself, and then just be quiet about it and drink a lot of water, and started drinking vitamin C. Itu I baru terasa my hidung like stuffy a little bit, right? But imagine these people, they are asked to be self quarantine because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so what is your tip for them, or what would be the advice for them?
I think in general, like, if that, I mean, to a certain extent, I think someone did say this to me. I think we need to treat ourselves like as if we are already, infected with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in general, I think even those people who have, been quarantined, or they have to be quarantined, self-isolate themselves, what they need to remember is that they're not alone in this. There are other people also who are going to be in self-isolation, that who are going to be quarantined too. All right. And of course, the stigma is there. People are going to be afraid to see you. People are going to be cautious of, like, being in contact with you and things like that. But they need to understand that, okay, yes, this acceptance is very important. Number one, accepting what has happened. There is a probability that I do have it,
Mm-hmm.
and so what do I do next? So
Mm-hmm.
if you were to accept it already, I think the only thing that you can do is perhaps just, wait it out and try to be as positive as possible. And I think putting too much into your head, like, once again, when you said that you were paranoid, What you should have done was perhaps brush that thought away and distract yourself from it, and should have done something else instead of layan perasaan tu. You know what I mean? You layan your thoughts. So that is number one. I think once you have negative thoughts, the first thing that you need to do is to not think further. You need to stop yourself from thinking, and you have to be mindful about it. When the negative thought comes in, you got to just like, okay, let's just do something else, not think about this. This is too much, okay? And that is when if you were to start with that, you will not go further than that. So even for those people who are in self isolation, I would tell them that, okay, just wait for it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, all great. So in general, just stick to your daily routines. Try to be as healthy as possible. Eat well. Take care of yourself. I mean, your health. Self care is very, very important. So yeah, drinking water, staying hydrated, staying healthy, and that is the best that you can do at that moment for your own self. And distracting yourself is very, very important. So I would say when you start getting very distressed, it's the best that we just take a deep breath and start thinking of something that you like to do. I mean, you can take your mind off something by actually reading a book. Read the book. If you want to watch some video on your phone, just watch a video on your phone. Try to get your mind off the things that is bothering you, because of course, like I said, if you start with those thoughts and you continue with those thoughts, it just gets worse. It doesn't stop anywhere. It just creates a lot more of anxiety. It becomes a loop. So and then you don't feel well, and then you start thinking, oh no, don't feel well, and then, oh, means I have coronavirus. So it has a lot of repercussions by not stopping your thoughts. So that is actually one technique that we use in psychology. It's called, yeah, CBT. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is where we actually tell people, we teach people how to actually counter and challenge their negative thoughts. So in general, I would say, that's how we got to do it. But of course, the therapy is more extensive than what I just said. But this is just a one-time tip, isn't it?
Yeah. So what you can do if you would like to do cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so then what you could do is be in touch with Shaz through here, right? So this is their Facebook page, and they can actually advise you on how while you are on self-isolation or self-quarantine, that you could reach out to them and have your e-therapy and do the CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Okay,
Right.
so that is tip number 2. If anyone is having anyone is being asked to do self isolation or self quarantine, right? Okay, so now let's speak about all of us who is supposedly, and I am really, really hopeful that all of us are staying at home right now. Although staying at home comes with, to some people, many, many prices to pay. Okay, to some people, they are already used to it, right? So people like me and you too, I guess that we are just so used of, going out, meeting people, moving around, doing something, that daily hustle kind of thing, right? So staying at home could be a crazy idea, right? So because
Right.
it is a crazy idea, how do you think that what is the self-care tip, in terms of mental health, number one, that you would advise on?
Okay. I think I would probably talk about those people who are used. There are two different type of people. Those people are used to actually being at home, and those who actually go out to work and every day goes out, meets people and everything. And that's what you asked me for, right? So usually what happens is, I think, is that you kind of feel very frustrated and angry that you can't actually go on with your normal daily routines. I think most of the time, I think it's a lot of frustration, right? And I think what we all need to realize that it's pretty normal, and employers also need to understand that the employees also are going to go through somewhat the similar type of feelings that they are going through as well. So how to be productive during this type of situations, I would say that because we still need to work at home, from home, some of us still need to do that. What I would suggest is that you need to, number one, find a workplace, find a workspace at home, preferably a place where you actually can close the door and make it into an office. I mean, as as much as possible, if you can, you got to do that. And that would actually create a sense of like, oh, this is my my cubicle, or this is where I go to work. I think you said that you get ready and you pretend to work at home, and that is important. I think getting out of bed and creating a routine for yourself. Okay, if I get up at 8, I mean, I get up at this time, and then I start work at 9 o'clock, and I'm there at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna start working at 9 o'clock. So number two is perhaps is to minimize your distractions, because when you are working alone, I think what happens is that everything seems very interesting. All of a sudden, the noise out there is interesting. Someone's screaming outside of my door is interesting. Oh my God, that book on the table! I've not read that book. Usual times you never even look at it, but you would probably go and take it and read it. Oh, someone messaged me, I'm gonna look at it. So you get distracted quite a bit, I think, if you were to be working alone at home. Because when you're at work, you have that environment. Everybody's working and you don't get distracted that easily. But at home, that sort of happens. And um, so another thing is also back to the disconnecting from what's going on in the social media, especially what the all the news about COVID-19. That would be also good to actually stop yourself from looking at those news. So lastly, I would tell you is that when we go to work, we usually have goals. We set goals. Okay, end of the day, I am going to finish this and I'm going to submit this. This is my list. So to be actually organized and actually to set goals will actually help you to actually be productive. Because at this point, it's very hard without, people motivating you and other people also working. But as you know, if you're working alone at home, when you go out, other people are not working. They're probably doing something else out there. So it's very difficult, right? Oh yes, one more thing I would probably think give an advice is about how you're going to communicate with your employer. That is also very important. Is it going to be a set fixed time that you're going to start talking to your employer, or to your employee? When are you going to have virtual meetings? Those things are quite important, and I think that would help and give support to the person who's working alone from home, because that is motivation is very, very important. That you need to be kept motivated to actually be doing something out of your comfort zone. And for business owners, at this point, everybody's struggling about something right now, and because of what's going on. So coming up with new strategies, new ways to actually um, promote your business or do something about your business is very difficult. So that support system is very, very important. And listening to your employees is also very important, because they may have ideas that you don't have.
Mhm.
And just like my team, I mean, they have given us so many ideas so far, and I'm really grateful to actually have such a great team. And we move forward quite fast, because that is what we like, the solution, getting a solution to a problem. And it's important to actually set a goal and get there as soon as possible.
So what I have been hearing from you is that um, that be at work, be at home, and pretend as if that you are at work. Set up a conducive working space, and also set a goal for yourself,
Right.
right? So what would I achieve for today? And it's the same, right, at work. So when we get into the office, and there are, for me or maybe for you, that we have just this list of appointments that we need to attend, and all that actually can be done online, right?
Yeah, right.
We can still achieve that, and then distraction will still be distraction. And I guess when we have a goal, then probably we are more goal oriented, and the distraction will be minimized, right? The focus on the distraction. And what I have been hearing also from you is through your communication about social media, because there's just so much news, or information about COVID-19 right now. Not to ignore them, but more on focusing on solutions right now, because yeah, that's right, everyone is having problems right now. But do we want to focus on the problem, or do we want to focus on what's the solution moving forward, right?
Right. And generally, this is going to be a norm. It's going to become normal for everybody. This is what's going to be, life is going to be for some time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to adjust. All of us have to adjust somehow or other, isn't it, Nini?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do feel that, listening to your team, keeping in touch with your team is a great way to keep ourselves motivated, especially as business owners like us, that we need feedback, we need support from our team every time that we are launching something new, especially now, right? Yeah, so new ideas is always welcome. Okay, so now let's speak about, okay, the how do I manage my stress as a business owner. I know that there are so many business owners right now. So I know a really good friend, a really close friend of mine. He has a chain of, teens of restaurants, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the upper class kind of restaurants, and imagine that he needs to close all this down, and imagine the kind of financial strain that he is in right now. So what kind of advice, or what kind of tip that you would give to business owners like us to keep
Mm-hmm.
ourselves sane, because I do believe that when we are stressed, we will be less productive. When we are stressed, our immunity level will be lower. When we are stressed, we can't make rational and strategic decisions. So it's really important to curb the stress level right now, right? So what's the advice,
Yeah.
the tip?
I think in general, like I said, we have to look at it as a big picture. There's a lot of things that we could do in these times, and I think a lot of people have moved on to food delivery services and things like that, but we do not know how long that is going to last for as well because of what's going on. But I think for business owners, how to keep in line your stress is to actually keep thinking about how do I move forward from here. If I am stuck here, how do I move from here to here? And if you keep thinking about it, of course, or you ask people for suggestions, what are other people also doing? Because everybody's in the same boat right now. And if we do think about it, together collectively, probably there will be a way that you can actually figure this out. Just like for my business right now, for our business, e-therapy, something that we never thought we would actually go into, and here we are, coming up with it, and we're like, okay, we got no choice, but we're gonna do this. So somehow other, yes, the stress is going to be there, but I think in the beginning, when you do not know anything, when you have very little information on what's going to happen to your business, you tend to have a lot of stress. That is how much of stress I did have, and I just found out, that I need to close and everything like that. Even though we are essential services, we can open actually. But we prefer not to because we want to limit we would like to actually practice social distancing, and also to curb what's going to happen. And this thing is not a joke, it's really serious. So we moved forward and we actually looked at what we can do. So um if like in the beginning, yes, I was very stressed, and after we talked about it, we figured it out. The stress reduced slightly, and right now there's a phase that I'm thinking, you know I think most business owners would think that those who are actually in the retail sector, or those people who are in this sector, a lot of sectors, they think that people will not need their services anymore. But the truth is, I think at this point right now, this is when they actually really need the services, because they cannot go out there to get it. So
Mhm.
the only way to do it right now is through online services, and to shift to that platform is something that some people are very reluctant to do. And I think that everybody should be open to that idea somehow or other. And it doesn't mean your consumers go away. It's to keep I think it's to make sure that everybody knows that you're still alive and you're still there, and you're gonna help them out in giving them discounts,
Mhm.
and you're still alive. And once things get back to normal, they will always remember you, and they'll be like, oh, that time, I had greatest meal from that restaurant, even though it was, supposed to be really expensive, and the service was great and everything like that. The food was still excellent, even though during the crisis. And that is something that they need to think about, the long term effects of what they're going to do right now. It's going to affect later on.
Mhm.
So it's to keep your business alive, even though you're really stressed on what's going to happen to it. So we need to be present still, no matter what. Still need to be present. Downsizing somehow or other. I think a lot of business are doing that right now, which is downsizing. Unfortunately, everybody has to downsize, and they need to look for their own best interests. And um, which is very sad, of course, I would say, for the employees and things like that. And but of course, there are compromises that could be made somehow or other for everybody. So we got to look at it collectively, I think.
So for this tip, for what I am also hearing from you is that, again, to focus on solution, right? So distracting ourselves from the problems, than thinking more about problems and more about problems, right? That will cause stress in our mind,
Yeah,
in our lives, right? But to actually focus on solutions. What else
yeah.
can I do right now?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's about planning, keep planning. And I think you need to fortune tell a little bit. This is what we do as clinical psychologists. We when we see a client, we kind of fortune tell what will happen and what would happen in the future to someone. If they didn't do something somehow or other. And I think that is what business owners should do. Like, if this doesn't work, then what do I do next? What do I do next? So
Mhm.
you do have like a solution for everything. So
Mhm.
that would reduce your stress rather than just keep thinking about the problem.
Mhm. Because even online right now, if you see on LinkedIn, if you see on Facebook, maybe edX or Edumai, LinkedIn Learn, so there are so many ways for you to learn right now how to get your business online, right? So what a great way for us to actually learn about this, because maybe like yourself as well, right, Shaz, that probably this could be an ongoing channel where you can be of service to your clients, to your customers after the.
Right, right. And matter of fact, me and Farah were thinking of actually doing online therapy for clients in Sabah and Sarawak, because we know that they don't have access to us. So actually, right before all of this started, we actually thought of doing this just for those clients in Sabah and Sarawak, because we really thought like there is a need, and we need to help them somehow. And if this is how we're going to help, then we're going to do that. But all of this happened, so now we expedited the whole online therapy, e-therapy right now.
All right. So
Yeah.
cool, right? So we spoke about employees working from home. We spoke about that just now, and yeah, we also spoke about businesses, right? So there is a question from our audience right now. Her name is Siti Nurhazwani. Hi, Siti. So her question is how the youth depression situation in Malaysia. Question number one. All right. So question number two is, do you have special packages for youth that need therapy, especially students?
All right. So, youth depression situation in Malaysia. I cannot tell you what the statistics are because I'm not very sure. I don't think that any survey has been done. But generally, from my experience and what I have seen, I could tell you that there are a lot more of young adults and youths who are actually falling into depression right now. And based on in Malaysia, that is, of course, yes, we do see a rise in youths who have depression. And a lot of them are basically untreated, I think, or they have not been diagnosed with them. So a lot of them are emerging on social media saying that they have depression or they self-diagnose themselves, which is not a very good thing. But the trends are there. So as of now, yeah, you can see quite a few people actually coming out on social media saying that they have suicidal thoughts and things like that. But of course, nothing on like no statistics or anything like that. But based on my experience, the amount of people who actually come to the clinic these days, meaning is quite a lot of youths who actually come, young adults who come to us as well for therapy sessions. And what's the second question?
Do you have special packages for youth that need therapy, especially students?
All right. So it really very much depends on the person. So for youth, usually, if you're talking about for students, we actually have a student price for which is set for online therapy, e-therapy right now is 70 ringgit per session. But it will be conducted by our master's clinical psychology students, and it's 70 ringgit per hour. You on in normal times, usually we do have packages. We do offer packages at our center, but it really very much depends on the individual and how much they can afford the payment. So it's a case by case basis, but usually we do have a lot of promotions. It's just about you coming and actually asking us, because we know a lot of people cannot afford therapy. So there are times that we just take pro bono cases and things like that. We do that. So it's very much up to the person to actually come and ask us, what can I do, and we will negotiate and we will give you something reasonable. Hmm.
All right.
Right.
So again, do check out We Care Allied Health Center on their Facebook page. You could actually message them there, right? And they also have information about their clinics there. But because the clinic is closed right now, so yeah, feel free to message them there. And yes, I think that this is a great question, right? Simply because that when youth are having you know um, maybe some frustration, some depression, they maybe lack of awareness as well, right? Or because of the stigma that we were talking about earlier just now, that
Mm-hmm,
they're
mm-hmm.
so afraid of the stigma, that if I go for therapy, then what? Right? Then I'm gila ka, like that. Am I a crazy person? Right? So just to say it out there. So I am on consistent therapy right now. So I'm not seeing Shaz right now simply because that she is a friend now, right? So
Yeah, right.
I still do want to see her from time to time for my personal things, but I am even on EMDR therapy right now, right? So just to, because I think as human being we have emotions, and when we have emotions there are ways for us to keep our emotions in check, keep our mental health in check, especially when you are the people who is handling so many things every single day, right? So there is no shame in going for therapy. That's what I think and I advocate. That's what I feel. All right. So, oh yeah, Shaz, I know that. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to ask this question or not, but I'm just gonna ask anyway.
Okay. We'll see.
So I know that we do collaboration events together. So you do have your booth counters, and you do come and speak in Mompreneur Asia's event and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So normally during the event, you would have a complimentary um, stress
Mental health screening. Yeah.
mental health screening, right? Okay, do you have that available online right now? Is it still complimentary? Or if and if yes, how do our audience get hold of that test, and how can they do it online?
As of now, we have not launched it yet, but it's a very good idea actually. And actually, we were thinking of actually putting it on our website, but we have not put anything on our website yet.
Mm.
So it's a work in progress, like Nini. But if anyone would like to go through the mental health screening, you can just approach us and message us on We Care Lighthouse Center's page, Facebook page, and we will definitely help you out.
Okay. So that will be great, guys. So probably after this, I can help you out with that, Shaz. But for now, if you think that um, a mental health screening will be valuable for you at the current situation right now, then do reach out to We Care Allied Health Care Center. We Care Allied Health Center.
Yes, correct. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. So another thing that I would like to speak to you about is that, husband and wife. You said
Mm-mm-mm.
you have a advice, right? So
Yes, I do.
at the moment, right? It has been 5 days. 5 days.
Mm, mm.
I've been, it has been so long that I didn't stay at home like for all
Mm,
5. Just the two of us stay home, like seeing each other every day, without going
mm,
out, without having that little me space time, or maybe we did lah kan, but still, he is somewhere around, I am somewhere around, right, at home.
mm.
We have been really productive actually, but I know also there has been memes around, saying, making jokes about, when husband and wife actually stay together that
Eh,
long for 2 weeks, right? So it will be another war, kan? So
Betul lah. But then you can do it so well. I think you should be giving the tips, Nini.
for me it's just like your earlier tip is set a goal, right? And
Yeah.
set a goal, right? And act as if that I am going to work, and support each other on our daily goals. So that was actually, it was quite easy for me this time around, right? Because I've been going for therapy. To be honest, guys, relationship with my husband has been better ever since we do therapy together, right? Okay. And we are more focused on the goals rather than, the tiny, tiny little things, why are you yelling, or why did you put your clothes there? Why did you, that petty things that after 24 hours, you won't even remember why you argue or fight in the first place, right? So focusing on goals worked for us, and supporting each other on our daily goals actually works. So but what is the tip that you have for us, couples?
I think this is very, I mean, generally because you say that, every day you see each other and, well, familiarity breeds contempt. But
Mm.
here's the thing. I would give you a suggestion as in, well, don't like how you talk about going to work. Husband goes to work in the corner, I mean, into a different room and locks himself in the room and has no communication whatsoever with the wife and
Nice.
stays there. That is what I would tell everybody to do. I think there should be that amount of time, like, how many hours that is, 6 hours or 5 hours at least, where they don't really speak at all to each other, don't even look at each other, and separate themselves and really just move to each one corner of the house and don't look at each other. Then it will feel like as if this person actually went to work and came back home. So, rather than, every day looking at each other, getting annoyed about small little things and everything. No, really, lock yourself. Don't communicate even with the phone. Or if you want to communicate with the phone only, message and say, yeah, whatever. You know how you would actually do it when you are at work. Do the same thing. I think that is the idea here is to actually go back to our routines and try to actually get a routine for ourselves, which I didn't talk about. I think
Mhm.
what a lot of people need to do is to actually create a routine for themselves every day and actually go ahead with that routine because it's very important to keep yourself sane. And if you're the type of person who eats lunch, dinner, breakfast, everything, then how you could kill time is actually cooking something every day or finding ways to actually kill your time by actually doing that. I actually have a friend who's in Italy right now, and he is actually stuck inside his house, and it has been about 3 weeks now that he's not out or so. And he was telling me like, yeah, the best way that I actually spend my time is actually I have routines, and I spend a lot of time cooking every meal and enjoying my meals because it's the only thing that keeps me happy. And I actually cook, and I he lives all alone, so he's stuck in the house all by himself, and he actually has a routine of working out. He works out. He goes into the kitchen, cooks, does small little things. Find small little things to do in the house, and that keeps him sane. So watch TV, read books, connect with people. Chatting with people helps as well. So he has a routine, and he says, it's working out for him, and it's very important to have that.
Okay, so having a routine, right? So yes,
Yeah.
I'm cooking as well, and I think that yes, having a routine will be great, right? So waking up at the same time when you normally wake up, but now that the children don't go to school, so I get to wake up a little later, but I wake up almost at the same time every day ever since RMO just started, right? So okay, I want to quickly speak about this, right? Because this is simply what I felt last night, and it was quite a strong feeling. So I want to speak about it and ask you a question. Okay, so being a mom, right? That I'm at home with my children, but I am also being very busy. So I have been really, really busy, doing work, and I've been online. I've been doing live videos, live classes every single day, twice or three times a day, right? And to prepare to work with my team and all that. And last night, so every night my husband would put the kids to bed. And last night, my daughter actually asked my husband, that, Daddy, why is mommy working late every night? Right? So then I felt really, really bad, right, for that. So I'm just, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of very easily putting myself on a guilt trip. And then I made a commitment to myself last night before going to sleep, and that I would take out all the art and craft stuff, right? So she's been doing that, art and craft, doing videos, doing all that. But today what I did was, just to bring everything out and set it up on the garage and let her just do it out there and do it with her. You know, everyone, the whole family just do it with her so that she feels the company, right? So, you know, how is it that? How is it that so I still get to do my work, you know, like usual when I'm at home with my children is around, but not too hard on myself that, you know, so easily putting myself on a guilt trip. You know, how is that? How can I do that?
Hmm. All right. So actually, we talked about this. Me and Farah, we actually talked about this because she has kids, and it's quite difficult. Her ones are quite young as well, right? So, and we actually talked about this in one video on how to manage our kids for our COVID-19 series as well. So, I think what you need to do is to remember that. Children, when we were younger, did we did we go tell mom, I'm bored? Did we go complain to our parents that we're bored? We rarely do that, do we?
Mm-hmm.
So we rarely did that. Most of the time, what we would have done was we would go find something or other and go and find something to do. Figure out, okay, what can I do? We get creative, probably read a book. I used to read books all the time. My brother used to do weird stuff. We would find all this weird mechanical stuff and you figure things out in the corner. And we never bothered our parents about, like, oh, I'm bored or anything. So that is number one. I think you need to remember that if they are bored, they will go and find something to do. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't always have to be there, but you need to be present. You
Mm-hmm.
just need to be, it means your physical being is there and you'll be doing something else by themselves. And number two is that they also need to understand that mommy has to work because she needs to make money, and if she doesn't work, then there's no money, and it's normal. And I think it's normal for a lot of working women these days to actually be working quite a bit, as much as the men do. And I mean, you have a great husband. I mean, he helps you out with the kids, putting them to bed and everything. The thing about it, I think, is that maybe you are feeling guilty because she asked that question. So maybe the only thing, if she didn't ask that question, you probably wouldn't even think of it. So um, it has to do a lot with how you feel about the things, actually. So what you could do is, like, okay, make yourself present for one or two nights,
Mm-hmm.
and interchange it a little bit. And I think right now is like the best idea. I mean, best time for you to actually spend time with them, and actually, uh, when you are really working, that is when they are actually doing something that is productive for themselves. That means you need to prepare and you need to manage things for them as well. That means if they have homework, then that's when homework time is. And 2 hours, don't disturb mommy. Mommy is there, but mommy got to do work first. So if they get the idea that you have work because you need to provide, or you need to you know be successful in whatever you're doing and everything, they need to also understand that part. Because in general, I don't know about your husband, but I would say in general, children don't really ask about where their dads are.
Mm-hmm.
They only ask always, where's mommy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why? Because they get the idea that daddy is working.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it's not the same for mommy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there is that part where you got to tell them, yeah, I'm here for you all the time, but there are times that I need to work because this is also important for you, not just for me, but for you also, so that I can get you whatever you want later on, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. They need to understand that idea. So yeah, you feel guilty. It's normal. Normal meaning. I think it's normal for most moms to actually feel guilty that they're not putting in enough time for their kids. But generally, as long as your children know that, and you can reassure them that you are there when they will need you, when they need you the most, that would be great. That is the solution to it, I would say. So being present at the important times is very important. As for you, bedtime for her, that means bedtime is important for her. So you need to ask her, what is it? When do you want mommy around? Mommy will be there. But you need to tell me because mommy's busy. Yeah.
That's cool. So because of that question last night, I've moved all my live shows to 3 p.m. tomorrow onwards, so that at night I can be free of work and spend the last 1 week of RMO with the children, right?
See, you did it. You did it even without me telling you anything.
Yeah.
What's that?
But I just didn't like feeling that guilt, right? And if I am feeling it, and I guess that
Other moms will be feeling it.
out there are also feeling it, so that's why I'm asking the question. So so you asked me earlier, right, whether or not 1 hour will be too long, and guess what?
Yeah.
Time to wrap up already now. So,
All right.
so what is your last advice? What would be your last tip to our audience for tonight?
All right, everybody. So, what I would suggest to all of you is to just take it day by day, okay? One day at a time, and don't think too much. Okay, we need to be prepared, and we need to be prepared for, of course, what's going to come. But if we always keep thinking about it, we're never going to move forward from it. So take it one day at a time and plan your days, make it productive, do whatever you always wanted to at this time when you know you have a lot of free time at home. Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so I will do a little announcement now. Shaz, if you don't mind, right? Okay, before that, I am just gonna um, okay. So, for your information, that we will be having our Her Rise Story talk show with industry leaders tomorrow onwards at 3 p.m. Right? So, we will be having a special session on the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. It will be called Her Rise Story Virtual Tea Talk, where you get to have tea at the comfort of your own home, and we kind of gonna have a tea party while learning from different industry leaders. So under Her Rise Story, we are going to feature 4 segments under the UN SDGs, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which is the economic growth, good health and well-being, gender equality, and also partnership in all SDGs. All right. So if you would like to know more, kindly like our Facebook page. Okay, it's called Ministry of Marketing Asia, or our event page, Her Rise Story Virtual Unconference 2020, and there is a lineup of all events going on there. So for now, I would like to again invite you to actually go on to this Facebook page. All right, so we care Allied Health Center, where you can actually maybe send in your request for the mental health screening or inquire more packages, right, Chaz?
Yeah.
About your
Definitely. Yeah.
packages, right? Okay, so other than that, stay tuned. Okay, thank you, Shaz, so much for being in our Her Rise Story virtual
Thank you.
industry leaders. Okay, talking about how to stay sane and productive.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right,
Nini. All
thank
right.
you.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.